The lack of overtaking and the high probability of the same teams winning in F1 has caused many to suggest that changes were needed to make races exciting. Reverse grid races were one of the suggestions, and F1's managing director Ross Brawn thinks that the race at Monza gives credence to this suggestion. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Monza showed that reverse grid races are worth considering. Brawn began by being excited for the future of F1. Sunday's race showed that Formula 1 has a golden future. Can you imagine the excitement when drivers like Pierre, Carlos and Lance are in race-winning cars? He then explained why the reverse grid idea was dropped initially after Monza was suggested as one of the possible tracks to try such a thing out. Monza was a candidate for a reverse grid sprint race when we were considering testing the format this year. Unfortunately, we could not move forward with it, but the concept is still something we and the FIA want to work through in the coming months and discuss with the teams for next year. We believe that yesterday's race showed the excitement a mixed-up pack can deliver, and with next year's cars remaining the same as this year, our fans could be treated to the similar drama we saw this weekend at Monza. He then explained how the teams would approach such a race differently. Of course, with a reverse grid sprint race, teams will set their cars up differently. Right now, Mercedes set their cars up to achieve the fastest lap and then control the race from the front. If they know they have to overtake, they will have to change that approach. He signed off by revealing F1's plans for the future. We will continue to evaluate new formats with the aim of improving the show, but always maintaining the DNA of Formula 1. Fast feed. Defending world champion Lewis Hamilton thinks that AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly is a nice guy and that he is a great talent, he just hasn't been treated fairly by Red Bull. He also hopes that Pierre will get another chance because he has now simply beaten the team from where he was expelled. That must be painful for Red Bull. Pierre Gasly meanwhile pointed out that this year Mercedes won all races except one by Max and one by himself, and that in the 50th race with Honda, great. Dutch Grand Prix sporting director Jan Lammers thinks that Pierre Gasly has done a lot of good for races this year and is significantly better than his teammate Kvyat. 2016 world champion Nico Rosberg feels that Ferrari looks like a very, very difficult car to drive, as driver Charles Leclerc accelerated out of the corner, had everything under control, and suddenly he loses the back of the car. Rosberg further emphasised that the behaviour of the car really scared him. Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas explained that he had a problem with the actual reaction from the start lights. He further elaborated they have been playing around with the way they do practice starts, and he has the feeling that there's been a disturbance sometimes at the actual starts. Former F1 driver Gerhard Berger believes that at Ferrari they've fallen into wishful thinking again. They want to be champions with Italians. He explained that if they are successful, it will be attributed to Italy as well, because it is still an Italian team. But you have to bring in the best people for your team worldwide. Red Bull's Max Verstappen didn't expect Mercedes to suddenly lose 2 or 3 tenths now. Some people think that Mercedes will lose a lot, but he doesn't really understand that. FIA President Jean Todt has revealed that the protests against Racing Point highlighted a lack of clarity about the rules, which they have resolved for 2021. He also confirmed that the document with the new guidelines has been signed by all teams this weekend. He also explained that while other sports are trying to close gaps with balance of performance, F1 does not, as they have 10 unique cars with the same rules for each. Whoever handles them best can win. It is being speculated that Ferrari will sport their 1950s livery for their 1000th F1 race at Mugello. Jan Lammers thinks that Racing Point's Lance Stroll lacked the racecraft to be able to win that race, and feels that he drove the first lap like a loose fire hose after the restart. Former F1 driver Jean Alesi is of the opinion that after Pierre Gasly was relegated to the B team last year by Red Bull, winning a Grand Prix is a revenge of pride. And Racing Point's Sergio Perez has lamented that anything that could go wrong seemed to happen to him at Monza. Should F1 consider having reverse grid races? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.